up, world? It's your host, Malik Boyd, and I am here with my co-host and daughter, Mikayla Jolie. Say hi.
Hi, everyone.
We are here today to talk about the election. You know, our Vision 2020 series, we brought you everyone from ambassadors to Congress folk to state representatives, state senators, mayors, the list goes on. But it's always good to hear from those in the culture who are excited, committed to politics, civics, and making a difference. We are excited to present to you an artist, a visionary, a leader, a philanthropist, none other than Will.I.Am. Will, welcome to Heart City. Welcome home, brother.
How you doing? How you doing? It's good to be here.
It's great to have you with us. This is a big election. This just doesn't just shape up the nation here in the United States. This affects the world. What made you align with the Biden-Harris campaign and say that this Biden-Harris ticket is the best choice at this time for America?
Well, it's not like we have a lot of options. There's two paths.
Yeah.
There's this path that has got us in a ditch.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the driver of the vehicle is sus, right? For a lot of like criminal activities that we keep ignoring because new distractions come out every day.
Right.
And then we have this path where Biden and Harris. And if you remember correctly, in 2008, America was in a ditch after Bush.
Mm-hmm.
And Obama and Biden helped repair that busted America, that divided America post 9/11. And then we went to war with a country that we then realized didn't have weapons of mass destruction. Our company was almost bankrupt because of a mortgage crisis. Like, remember 2008,
Mm-hmm.
and who helped us repair our patchy vehicle, our busted tires? Like, have a memory. Now, who do we want to then take us forward? The suspect driver that got us in a ditch, a divided, vehicle with people like, spatting with each other and at odds with each other over things that I thought that we should have really been, solved after my grandmother's generation.
Right.
How do we get back to my grandma's fight?
Yeah.
And yes, there's always going to be racists. Yes, there's always going to be bigots. Yes, there's always going to be, folks that are prejudiced. But why are their voices louder than the majority of people?
That's a challenge. That is a challenge.
That is this thing. That is the power of a non-regulated platform. There's no regulations on Facebook and who has access to our data to manipulate us, to persuade us to do things and think in certain ways.
Right.
The configuration, we are living in the wild WWW, and that's not World Wide Web. That's the wild, wild west of a social platform that has no regulations on it at the moment.
Right.
So, and that means enemy nations, terrorists have the ability to go into Facebook and buy data to manipulate us. And these are facts, right? There's documentaries about it. Wall Street Journal has talked about it. They've been
Social
to
Dilemma.
Social Dilemma. There's another one called The Great Hack. Now, who do we want? And we know in The Great Hack, it showed that, Trump utilized Facebook data to persuade us to go a different path. The same way that the data was used for UK to leave Brexit. I mean, to leave the European Union to create Brexit. We know these facts. But with every day a new distraction, it's hard to stay focused on the last one. Right. Why do we want these shenanigans moving forward? And when we know 2024 is going to be a totally different configuration with smarter machines, autonomous vehicles, AI that's smarter than, a 12-year-old.
Right.
And when COVID-19 happened, these tech companies have even more money to invest in technology that has no regulations. Come on, y'all. What do we want? And this is the path that these are the two choices that we have. The suspect driver that got us in a ditch, or Biden, who's helped us and solve the last dilemma that we had in 2008.
2008. You know,
Biden
you talk about love a lot. It is a crucial element in a lot of your presentation, especially during this year. Black Eyed Peas and Jennifer Hudson, you guys just came together to put together this project, The Love, and you use excerpts of Biden's speech with all the celebrities that are coming out and speaking out about the election in some pretty diverse ways, we know. Why was it so important to put out this project with Jennifer and in the way that you did?
So during the DNC, I listened to Joe Biden's speech, and just a week ago today was a first anniversary of the events in Charlottesville. Close your eyes, remember what you saw. Do you remember seeing those neo-Nazis? Remember seeing those Klansmen? Remember? And I was like, wow, wait a second. What's wrong with the world mama? People living like they ain't got no mamas. That speech has the same sentiment, has the same, notes as far as like what's wrong with America. Like, and why is it our reality? Why does it have to be that way? Because if you only have love for your own race, and you only leave space to discriminate, and to discriminate only generates hate. And when you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Like, those words are similar to the tone and the message in Biden's speech. And so I wanted to marry it and create a say, so you see exactly what's being said. And seeing coupled with, what's being said is really powerful.
Right.
It keeps you focused. It keeps your heart connected to what's being said and what you're hearing, to see. So it processes in your mind of like, yo, we don't need another, 4 years of this.
Mm-hmm.
What did we do to deserve this?
What does love look like in politics and policy, and especially in the promise to Black America? I mean, Black America is still in a defining point, trying to figure out its way in the political spectrum. And nonetheless, you're touting love throughout all of this. How does it manifest itself in that space?
Love looks like justice served. Love looks like opportunities created. Love looks like investing in the kids' education so they have a better path to not only fill jobs but create jobs. Love looks like the teacher gets more than the prison guard. Love looks like, the communities are reminded, and nice, tasty, healthy food on our block. Love looks like there's not a liquor store next to a motel, next to a check cashing, next to a fast food restaurant, next to the strip club down the street from the school. That's not what love looks like. That's not love. That is a recipe for disaster. Because if you have a check cashing place in a neighborhood, that means you don't know how to save money and grow money. You get money, you cash check, you go to the liquor store, you get drunk, you get kicked out of your house, you go to the motel, buy food, you're at risk of diabetes and obesity. That cycle, that is planned. That's a distraction tactic. That is a pitfall and zoned to be that way. You can't have that zoning in Beverly Hills and Brentwood. They don't allow that configuration of businesses. So that's what love looks like in Brentwood and all communities that look like Brentwood, right? So that's what love looks like there. And we need to make sure that that is, echoed and deployed in our neighborhoods, in our blocks, and starting with how a kid gets funded for their education.
Sounds like these are issues of the heart, electing people who have truly a heart for people and a heart for each other. I'm going to throw a question to my co-host, this 14-year-old phenom, Mikayla Jolie. What would you like to ask Will.I.Am?
So I was wondering what advice you would give to young people that want to get involved in politics.
My advice to young people that want to get involved in politics is create a movement, create a squad, a herd, a flock of like-minded folks that are pushing for change. One person is powerful, but a lot of people moving forward and making sure that the people that they elect execute the things that the community and that flock, that herd, are standing for it, fighting for it. And my generation didn't do a good job of that. My generation is, and even the past are individualists. But the Martin Luther King generation is a herd generation, and they got herd, and things were executed based on the herd and what they were saying, and the people that heard what the herd was saying. So your generation is very important. You know, you're 14 years old. When you're 18 years old, the world's going to be totally different. Unimaginable jobs that we can't even imagine right now will come. Like, think about Uber right now, and Postmates, and Uber Eats, and all these companies where you could order something from your phone and you could see them when they're arriving. That wasn't possible in 1998.
Yeah,
that wasn't possible in 2004, and that happened because of technology. Now, imagine these new companies, these new businesses that are going to come, these new technologies when you are 22. Imagine what the world's going to look like then. So it's really important for you and if you're 14 right now, you and your friends to go and, create many nations of love driven, opportunity focus, and so we could change our communities and other communities that look like that. Black and Latino, whoa, very powerful. Right now, Black and then Latinos have but imagine when Blacks and Latinos are just like, nope, we are one. Imagine that. Because that's a very powerful unit. But not even that. Don't stop there. Imagine if Black, Latino, and poor white united. Because these very few folks want to keep us all separate, when really we have a lot in common, poor white and Latino. But we need the Black community, we need to get a little bit more organized. We need to get a little bit more foresight driven and not short-mindedness. And our music needs to reflect where we want to go. The music that we support needs to reflect how we want our women to be treated. Our music needs to reflect, and guess what? It's happened in the past. We're not asking for some obscene requests. The Public Enemies of the world, the Boogie Down Productions of the world, all these, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. I'm trying not to.
Yeah.
He didn't say, get away from me, I'm gonna blast you. That's not what he said. He said, white lines, don't do it, baby. He said, don't. He didn't say like, hey, you want to buy, you know what I mean? He wasn't selling, these. He was telling you not to do it. So our community, we started off making music to protect our community. Now it's as if the Grim Reaper is making sure we write music to kill our community. That we celebrate people that bring harm to our community. Like, how did it get this way? Oh, that's right. Because most of the people, there's some people that own prisons.
Yeah.
They profit from prisons. And those same people that profit from prisons also own pieces of entertainment companies. That combination is the reason why we are in our configuration. So your generation is really important. Sorry for hitting you with a lot of information, little one.
Now listen, you sound like Dad does, man. So she's getting it in stereo right now. Will,
how old are you?
So she's 14. I'm 42. So we're right in the same spot. Right in the same spot.
We from the same school.
Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir. So last question. First off, congratulations. You are the only human in the whole universe who has sent a song to Mars and has played it for the galaxy as we know it. Now, that means to me, it's clear that when you speak, the world truly listens. What do you need the world to know from your heart to theirs around November, this Tuesday, voting the election?
are, it's either going to be extremely hard or it's going to be hard.
Mm.
That's the unfortunate situation that we are in as Americans. It's going to be extremely hard or it's going to be hard. I take hard over extremely hard, like that, because, you know, if you come from the projects and you've made it out the projects, you realize that was hard.
Mm-hmm.
That was just hard, because if you made it out, if you did make it out, that means it was extremely hard.
Right.
And I'm not trying to, we should not have in America that's extremely hard where we can't make it out. Let's think of all the countries that used to be dope.
Mm-hmm.
Like Greece used to be dope.
Right.
Italy used to be like, what? That was Rome, y'all.
Yeah.
Like Portugal used to be dope. And yeah, they on the comeback, but you know, they used to be dope.
Right.
America could be one of those used to be dope places. And why do we want to be that? Why do we want to be used to be dope? Because that means our dollar's not going to be powerful. That means it's going to be, right? That means going into this new decade and after that, decades to follow, America had its heyday. That means it's going to be hard for like people that are 14. That means it's going to be hard for folks that are just born today.
Yeah. And
we, as the voting power, we have our responsibility to make sure that we ain't a used to be dope nation. And we choose hard over extremely hard.
Yeah.
Right? If 2020 is a reflection of what the rest of 2020 to 2024 is going to be like. 2020, whoever's leading the nation right now, this is what it's going to look like from 2020 to 2024. And that should scare the hell out of y'all. Right. This is what it looks like. This is the path that we're on. This is what it is. As a futurist, like I used to work for Intel as a futurist and the Coca-Cola company as a futurist. And what that is like, it's creative thinking, projecting out all the possibilities that people might not be able to see based on their conflict. Like putting together and connecting dots. I'm like, okay, if this, then that, right? There's algorithms called if this and that. So your phone, if you think things like, oh man, my phone's listening to me. It's not listening to you. It's powered by an amazing algorithm called if this then that, to the point where it can predict your behavior, to the point where when you get your phone, you thought they were listening to you. No, bro. Those are very advanced algorithms. And the core of it is an algorithm called if this then that. So, and futurists use that way of thinking to like simulate what it might look like on a business model, a marketing ploy, a song. So simplifying what 2024, the end of 2024 might look like, it's going to look a lot like 2020. People locked in the house, people out in the streets clashing with each other. Right. The economy going extremely up and extremely down. A leader that doesn't believe in science, a leader that's egotistical, megalomaniac, narcissist who thinks everything is about him and only him. A leader that will bring up any soundbite, whether it's truthful or not, to divide and conquer as a chaos agent that he is. And because of that, so many jobs and no preparation for the world to come. That's what 2020 to 2024 is going to look like. And why do you want that? So the few of y'all that got some money, save your taxes. Look at, for the folks that come from the urban community that had nothing, they now have something. And your mama and your daddy and your grandma and everybody was on welfare like mine. I have to pay my taxes. I'm proud to pay my taxes because there's families that need me to pay my taxes, just like I and my family depended on folks to pay their taxes so we could get our EBT and our WIC check and our welfare. And so I have to do my fair share. Yeah, I make a lot of money. Am I upset that I have to pay taxes? Yeah. Am I gonna do it? Hell yeah. Why? Because I have to when I have the ability to. Why? Because somebody did that for me when I was, 5 to born to 21 when I got signed. 17 when I got signed to Ruthless. Yes, you got to do your part. Sorry for being long-winded.
Nah, you're
There's
good.
There's just a lot of stuff.
But it's real because many think that celebrities get to this point, and they all just forget their humble beginnings. They forget their journey. It's good to see that you didn't forget your journey and you're using it as core principles, because if that's in your core, then it's harder for the environment to come in and shape and corrupt. And it's good to hear that. And it's good to know that celebrities also understand responsibility. Those who have also understand responsibility, and we love each other. And we're going to figure that out, how to do it tangibly.
Yeah, celebrity is I don't like that word.
I saw your face. So replace it with the word that you would use. What would you call yourself in this space? I mean, because you're more than just one who everybody knows.
No, I'm your neighbor. Like, we lived in the projects. I was a celebrity in the project because everybody in the projects knew me.
Word. I got you.
Was I a celeb? No, I was just, people knew me. So people know me. Am I a celebrity? Nah, because I don't only come around when it's time to celebrate.
Word.
I come around when I make sure that I went back to my neighborhood and that I come from. I have a school. We serve about 760 plus kids. We teach kids robotics and computer science. I've been doing it for the past 11 years. I've sent kids to Dartmouth and Brown and Stanford and UCLA and USC, and they go to school debt free. Because the last thing I want is to send kids from the hood to go to school and come back with double D's. What that means is debt and a diploma.
Yeah.
Like, debt and diploma is bad because that don't necessarily mean they have the ability to get a job.
Right.
So how do you make sure they get jobs? You got to give them skill sets that can fill jobs and create new jobs. So that's the reason why we focus on robotics and computer science in my hood. And I have no disrespect against celebrities, but I know there's people that are celebrities that do nothing. Like, yo, why are you famous? Because I'm famous. Like, nah, bro. Yeah. I don't want to be no freaking celebrity.
Yeah.
I want to be covered with folks that don't do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what's dope too? I love your approach to education. I serve as the ambassador for University of the People, which is considered right now the world's first tuition-free university. Wow. And they bring in all these instructors from around the world who are teaching literally for nothing so that people can graduate with an accredited degree for like $4,000. And that whole premise that you have around that double D concept is exactly what I feel. How can someone be prosperous? How can they pull their families out the hood or to a better platform, better plateau, if you put $220,000 on them for the sheet of paper?
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. You're creating a new slave trade, essentially. And so I'm excited about the work you're doing. Will, I know you're busy, man. Listen, we need you to know we love you. We appreciate you and the great work that you're doing, not just in the artistry, man, but in the community. It really matters.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it's an awesome inspiration. You and your daughter doing this together. And, because there's a lot of us that, I don't know my dad. And you're really lucky to have an amazing father that is enlightening you and inspiring you and involving you in these, critical issues and opening up your mind and your heart. My mom is my mom and my dad. So every time it's Father's Day, I tell my mom Happy Father's Day. And so she gets two as a parent. But to see father and daughter, father and son, and our community doesn't have to be that way. But that's all by design. Like, they designed that when they would separate our families. Like, so in America right now, Trump's responsible for 500 kids, Latino kids that can't find their parents. But that's not the first time America has done that. Right. They've done that with the slaves when they would separate father from mother and mother from kid and then sell them. Right. So if these kids, they're kids, 500 of them that can't find their parents because they was trying to find refuge to come to America for a better opportunity, because that's what America promotes. And now we're criminalizing folks that just want to come into the country. Yeah. Right. And we don't pay the ones that are here working odd jobs, getting paid nothing in the farms like Black people were in the farms picking cotton. We got Latino Mexicans picking fruit.
Yeah.
In California, where I'm from, when there was blazing fires and they're still in there picking fruits and avocados, and we at the restaurant or at home delivering food and not even knowing and recognizing the folks that are responsible for the food that we eating. And we have this mentality of like, oh, the Mexicans want to come into our country. We don't value the ones that are in our country. So this is not the first time this has happened to Blacks and Mexicans and families being ripped apart. That's the reason why I say Latinos and Blacks have a lot in common. We have a lot, tremendous amount in common. So, you know, I salute you as an awesome father and breaking that psychosis that, you know, we are not to be together. And even in our music represents and portrays a broken family. I don't love them hoes is on purpose, on design, on like, you know, hypnosis that we're supposed to like represent that. That's not the Jewish community don't do that. When's the last time you heard a Jewish song from the inner city culture talking about we don't like our women?
Yeah.
And if you think about the 14 million Jews that are on the planet, 14 million Jews on the planet and how awesome that community is, we could learn from that. Black community could learn from the gay community. Look at how powerful the gay community just arose to become. To the point where you can't freely say and discriminate gays on a record.
No.
Right? No. That is powerful. There's so many communities that we could learn from, like, wow, how did they organize up? How did they organize up? How are we going to organize up? And then who else is like us so we can organize with as well?
Exactly. And partner up. Listen, we appreciate your heart. And we feel like we partner with your heart in knowing that the community, the country, the world could be a better place if we have more love. Man. And so we thank you for all that you do, Will.
Thank you.